I stood frozen in the church hallway, staring at my phone in disbelief. The email from the travel agency confirmed what I'd feared. Our honeymoon reservations had been canceled. Not rescheduled, not modified, canceled. And I knew exactly who was responsible. Juliana? My best friend Avery's voice snapped me back to reality. The photographer needs you for the family photos. Your mother-in-law is getting impatient. Of course she was. Vanessa was always impatient when things weren't going exactly her way. I'm Juliana, and this was supposed to be my wedding day. Instead, it had become the Vanessa show, starring my mother-in-law as the commander-in-chief of everything from the flower arrangements to the seating chart. I'll be right there, I managed, quickly wiping away a tear before it could ruin my makeup. The makeup that Vanessa had insisted I get done by her preferred artist, not the one I'd originally booked. Walking into the church's main hall, I saw her holding court among the guests, wearing a cream-colored dress that was suspiciously close to white. "There you are, darling," she called out, her voice dripping with honey-coated venom. "We simply must get these photos done before the light changes." Aaron, my almost husband, shot me an apologetic look. He'd been doing that a lot lately. "Sorry," he whispered as I took my place beside him. "You know how she gets." "Ladies, please." The photographer clapped his hands. "Mother of the groom, if you could stand just here." "Oh no, I think I should be next to Aaron," Vanessa interrupted. "After all, this is a family photo, and we want to show our unity." I bit my tongue so hard I tasted blood. Unity. Right. Like when she'd unified my carefully chosen blue and silver color scheme into her preferred burgundy and gold, or when she'd unified the guest list by adding 30 of her bridge club friends I'd never met. "Actually," I heard myself say, "I'd like a photo with just Aaron and me first." The silence that followed was deafening. "Juliana, dear." Vanessa's smile didn't reach her eyes. "This is a family occasion. We do things as a family." "It's our wedding," I countered, feeling Aaron's hand squeeze mine supportively. "Mom," Aaron started, but Vanessa was already positioning herself between us. Now, let's not make a scene," she said, loud enough for nearby guests to hear. "We want these photos to be perfect, for the family album." The family album. The same excuse she'd used when changing my bouquet last minute, when rearranging the reception seating, when vetoing the father-daughter dance tribute I'd planned to honor my late dad. "This is for family," she'd said each time, as if I wasn't family enough. The photographer snapped away as Vanessa directed the show, and I stood there smiling mechanically, thinking about that canceled honeymoon email. The special trip my father had secretly saved for, revealed to me through a letter after his passing. His final gift, meant to make up for all the family vacations we couldn't afford when I was growing up. "Perfect," Vanessa declared after what felt like hours. "Now, about the reception entrance." "Excuse me," I muttered, needing air. I hurried toward the side door, but not before hearing Vanessa's stage whisper to her friend. "Poor thing, so emotional. But what can you expect? No mother to guide her through this important day. Thank goodness I'm here to handle things properly." I found myself in the church garden, gasping for breath. Avery appeared moments later, holding my phone. "You left this inside," she said softly. "Want to tell me what's really going on?" I showed her the email. Her eyes widened as she read. "She canceled your honeymoon? Can she even do that?" "Apparently, she called pretending to be me, said it was a family emergency." I laughed bitterly. "The travel agent even sent a note hoping everything was okay with my mother-in-law's health." "That witch," Avery breathed. "What are you going to do?" I looked back at the church, where Vanessa was undoubtedly reorganizing something else about my wedding. My wedding, which hadn't felt like mine since the moment I'd said yes to her son. "I don't know," I admitted. "But I do know one thing. This isn't over. She wants to play family games? Fine. But she has no idea who she's really dealing with." The church bells began to ring, signaling it was time for the ceremony. As I straightened my dress, the one Vanessa had helped me choose, I felt something shift inside me. This woman had taken over my wedding, canceled my honeymoon, and tried to erase every trace of my own family from this day. But she'd made one crucial mistake. She'd underestimated exactly how far I'd go to take back what was mine. 3 days after the wedding, I sat in my childhood home's attic, surrounded by dusty boxes and memories. The house was being sold next month, but I needed to find something first, The rest of my father's letter about the honeymoon. Your dad was always so organized, Avery said, carefully opening another box. It has to be here somewhere. I pulled out an old photo album, and a loose picture fell to the floor. It was me at 6 years old, sitting on my father's shoulders at the beach, both of us beaming at the camera. My mother had taken this photo during our only family vacation, a weekend getaway we'd saved up for all year. Found something. Avery's voice pulled me back. She held up a manila envelope with, "For Juliana's wedding," written in my father's familiar handwriting. My hands trembled as I opened it. Inside was a USB drive, some documents, and the complete letter I'd only partially read before the wedding chaos began. "Read it out loud," Avery urged, scooting closer. "My dearest Julie," I began, my voice catching. "If you're reading this, it means I couldn't be there to walk you down the aisle, but I made sure to leave you something special." The letter detailed how he'd been saving for years, setting aside money from extra jobs and overtime shifts. He'd worked with his old friend Ezekiel, a family lawyer, to set up a special account for my honeymoon fund. "Wait," I said, grabbing my phone. "Ezekiel might still have access to this account." I dialed his number, praying he still worked at the same firm. "Juliana?" His warm voice answered. "I was wondering when you'd call." "You knew about the honeymoon fund?" "Your father made me promise to wait until you contacted me. He wanted it to be a surprise, but he also wanted to make sure no one could interfere with his gift to you." I thought of Vanessa's smug face when she'd announced at the reception that the honeymoon had been regrettably canceled due to family obligations. "Can you help me access it?" I asked. "Come to my office tomorrow at 10. Bring your ID and marriage certificate. And Juliana, your father was very specific about this being your money, no one else's." After hanging up, I plugged the USB drive into my laptop. It contained videos, dozens of them. My father had recorded messages for me over the years. I clicked on one dated just months before he passed away. Julie Bean, his familiar nickname for me, made my eyes water. "I know I won't be there to protect you anymore, but remember what your mother always said. Being kind doesn't mean being weak. You've got her spirit in you, sweetheart. Don't let anyone dim your light." Avery squeezed my hand as we watched more videos. In each one, my father talked about his dreams for me, his pride in my achievements, and most importantly, his hope that I'd find the strength to stand up for myself. "Your mom would have never let anyone push you around like this," Avery said softly. "And neither would your dad." She was right. My mother had been the kindest person I knew, but she was also fiercely protective of our family. Before cancer took her, she'd made me promise to never let anyone make me feel small. My phone buzzed. A text from Vanessa. "Dinner at our house tomorrow night. Family meeting to discuss the holiday arrangements. Non-negotiable." "Non-negotiable," I repeated, a plan forming in my mind. "We'll see about that." I called Aaron, who was at work. "Hey, can you meet me at Ezekiel's office tomorrow at 10? Your dad's lawyer? Is everything okay?" "It will be, but I need you to trust me on this." There was a pause. "Is this about what Mom did with the honeymoon?" "Among other things. Aaron, I love you, but I can't keep living like this. Your mother needs to understand that I'm not her puppet." "I know," he sighed, "and I'm sorry I haven't stood up to her more. What do you need me to do?" "Just be there tomorrow, and maybe start thinking about where you'd like to go on our honeymoon." After hanging up, I found one last video from my father, dated just weeks before he died. "Julie Bean, remember that time you stood up to those bullies in middle school? You didn't fight them. You outsmarted them. That's my girl. Sometimes the best revenge isn't about getting even. It's about rising above. But rising above doesn't mean letting people walk all over you. It means being clever, being strong, and most importantly, being true to yourself." I closed the laptop, my resolve strengthening. "Avery, I need your help with something else. How good are you at keeping secrets?" She grinned. "Better than your mother-in-law is at minding her own business." Tomorrow would be the first step in taking back control of my life. Vanessa wanted to play family politics? Fine. But she was about to learn that she wasn't the only one who could play that game. Ezekiel's office felt smaller than I remembered, especially with Aaron nervously shifting beside me. The morning light filtered through Venetian blinds, casting striped shadows across the mahogany desk where my father's lawyer spread out several documents. "Your father was quite thorough." Ezekiel said, sliding a folder toward me. The honeymoon fund contains exactly $15,000, plus 5 years of accumulated interest. Aaron's eyes widened. That's incredible. And completely separate from any joint accounts or family finances, Ezekiel added pointedly. The money is solely in Juliana's name. I pulled out my phone and opened the travel agency's website. Can we rebook everything right now? Actually, Aaron interrupted, I have a better idea. He turned to me, taking my hand. What if we plan something completely different? Something Mom doesn't know about and can't interfere with? A slow smile spread across my face. I'm listening. My friend runs a boutique travel agency. We could book through him, use a different email, keep everything under wraps until we're actually gone. Ezekiel nodded approvingly. Smart thinking. Your mother-in-law wouldn't be able to cancel what she doesn't know exists. Just then, my phone buzzed. Speaking of the devil, Vanessa was calling. I declined the call, but seconds later, a text appeared. Don't forget dinner tonight. Wearing that lovely burgundy dress I bought you would be appropriate. She's still trying to control everything, I muttered. Not for long, Aaron said firmly. I've been thinking about what you said, and you're right. This has to stop. After leaving Ezekiel's office, we met Avery at a cafe far from Vanessa's usual haunts. Aaron's travel agent friend, Marcus, joined us via video call. Bali, Marcus suggested, scrolling through options. Or maybe the Maldives. Both destinations have excellent privacy policies for their luxury resorts. The Maldives, I decided. It's perfect. Completely different from the European tour Vanessa canceled. And significantly more expensive, Avery added with a grin. Good thing you've got that fund. We spent the next hour booking everything under Aaron's work email, using points from his corporate card to further mask the transactions. By the time we finished, our secret honeymoon was set for 3 weeks away. Now, Avery said, pulling out her notebook, about tonight's dinner. I have an idea about that too, I said, feeling more confident than I had in weeks. But I need to make a quick stop first. An hour later, I walked into a small boutique where Deborah, our original wedding planner, worked. She looked up in surprise when I entered. Juliana, I'm so sorry about everything that happened with the wedding. Your mother-in-law was quite persuasive. That's one word for it, I replied. Listen, I need your help with something, and this time, we're not letting Vanessa anywhere near it. By the time I arrived at Vanessa's house that evening, I was ready. I'd worn a deep blue dress instead of the burgundy one she'd chosen, a small act of defiance that didn't go unnoticed. Oh, darling, Vanessa said, air kissing my cheek. That dress is interesting, though the one I bought would have been more appropriate for a family dinner. I think she looks beautiful, Aaron said, placing his hand on my lower back. Vanessa's smile tightened. Well, shall we discuss the holiday arrangements? I've already made some preliminary bookings for Christmas. Actually, I interrupted, Aaron and I have an announcement first. I pulled out an envelope and handed it to her. Inside was a donation receipt for $5,000 to the local children's hospital, in her name. What's this? She asked, confusion crossing her face. We donated the money we saved from canceling the honeymoon, I explained sweetly. Since you were so concerned about family obligations, we thought you'd be proud to have this charitable contribution in your name. The color drained from her face. I don't understand. It's simple, Mom, Aaron said. We're done letting you control everything. From now on, Juliana and I make our own decisions. But I only want what's best for the family. No, I said firmly, channeling my mother's strength. You want what's best for your image. There's a difference. I stood up, smoothing my deliberately chosen blue dress. Now, if you'll excuse us, we need to head home. We have some planning to do for our future, our way. As we left, I sent a quick text to Avery. Phase 1 complete. Start spreading the word about the canceled honeymoon donation. Let's see how Vanessa handles being known as the generous mother-in-law who inspired such charitable giving. Aaron squeezed my hand as we drove away. You know she's going to be furious when she realizes what we've done. I smiled, thinking of our secret Maldives reservation. Oh, she hasn't realized anything yet. This is just the beginning. The next 2 weeks were a masterclass in stealth planning. Every lunch break, every evening after work, Aaron and I methodically prepared for our secret getaway. We bought new swimsuits from stores Vanessa would never visit, ordered reef-safe sunscreen from small online retailers, and had everything delivered to Avery's apartment. "Your mother-in-law's been calling me," Deborah said during our secret meeting at a small coffee shop. "She's trying to arrange a surprise anniversary party for you two next month." I nearly choked on my latte. "We'll be in the Maldives then." Exactly. Deborah's eyes twinkled. "And I'm having so much fun giving her the runaround about venue availability." My phone buzzed. Another text from Vanessa. "Darling, lunch tomorrow? We need to discuss some family matters." "She's getting suspicious," I told Deborah. "She's been trying to schedule family lunches almost every day." "Keep her busy with small decisions," Deborah advised. "It's an old planner's trick. Give her tiny things to control, and she won't see the big picture." Following her advice, I called Vanessa. "About lunch tomorrow. Could you help me choose new curtains for the living room instead? Your taste is so impeccable." "Oh." I could hear the pleasure in her voice. "Of course, darling. I know just the place." That evening, Aaron and I were packing our secret suitcases at Avery's when my phone rang again. This time it was Marcus, the travel agent. "We have a situation," he said. "Someone's been calling around local travel agencies, asking about bookings under your names." My heart stopped. "What?" "Don't worry, you're not in our system under either of your names, but thought you should know." After hanging up, I paced Avery's living room. "She's getting closer." "Then we need to throw her off completely," Avery said. She grabbed her laptop and pulled up a travel website. "Watch this." She booked a fully refundable trip to Vancouver for the same dates as our Maldives vacation using my email address. "Now we wait," she said, grinning. Sure enough, within hours, I received a confirmation email. I forwarded it to Vanessa with a simple message: "Looking forward to some quiet time for reflection." The next day, I met Vanessa at an upscale home decor store. She was already examining fabric swatches when I arrived. "Burgundy would warm up your living room beautifully," she said, not looking up. "I was thinking ocean blue, actually, to match our Vancouver photos when we get back." Her head snapped up. "Vancouver? Just a little solo trip. Time to clear my head after everything." "Alone? But what about Aaron? What about family?" "Aaron understands I need space, especially after the honeymoon situation." Vanessa's face tightened. "I only canceled that trip because—" "Because it was a family matter?" I interrupted sweetly. "Yes, you mentioned that. Several times. That evening, I received a series of texts from various family members, all expressing concern about my emotional state and my selfish decision to travel alone." "She's rallying the troops," Aaron said, reading over my shoulder. "Perfect." I showed him my phone screen. "Avery's already canceled the Vancouver booking. Your mom's probably trying to track it down right now to cancel it herself." "You're kind of scary sometimes," he said, but he was smiling. "I learned from the best." The next morning, I found a note slipped under our apartment door. The handwriting was Vanessa's. "Darling, family doesn't keep secrets. Remember that." "Is that a threat?" Aaron asked, reading the note. "No," I said, tucking it into my purse. "It's desperation." Later that day, I met with Ezekiel again, showing him the note. "Document everything," he advised. "Every text, every call, every note, just in case." "You think she'd actually try something?" "I think people who are used to control become unpredictable when they lose it." On my way home, I stopped by my childhood house one last time. The sale was almost complete, but I needed one more thing. In my old bedroom closet, I found what I was looking for: my mother's old journal. Inside, she'd written about her own struggles with Vanessa years ago, when she'd first started dating my father. The last entry before she got sick read, "Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is smile in the face of those who want to see you break." My phone buzzed again. Vanessa had sent a group text to the entire family. "Concerned about our dear Juliana. Please join us for a family intervention dinner this Saturday." I showed it to Aaron when I got home. He immediately started typing a response, but I stopped him. "Wait," I said. "Let's give her exactly what she wants. A family dinner where everything comes out in the open." "You sure?" I thought of our packed suitcases at Avery's, our secret reservations, and the look on Vanessa's face when she realized she'd lost control. "Trust me," I said. "Saturday's dinner is going to be unforgettable." Saturday evening arrived with the weight of an approaching storm. As Aaron and I pulled up to Vanessa's house, I counted 6 other cars parked outside. "She really did invite the whole family," Aaron muttered. "Good," I replied, checking my purse one last time. My mother's journal was there, along with a few other carefully chosen items. The more witnesses, the better. Vanessa opened the door before we could knock, wearing a concerned expression that wouldn't have looked out of place on a daytime soap opera. Oh, darling, we're all so worried about you. The living room was packed with Aaron's relatives, aunts, uncles, cousins, all wearing matching expressions of manufactured concern. Aunt Patricia immediately rushed over to hug me. "We're here to help, dear," she said, patting my cheek. "Vanessa told us everything." "Did she?" I asked, looking directly at my mother-in-law. "What exactly did she tell you?" "About your emotional instability," Uncle Robert chimed in. "The secret trips, the erratic behavior. The charitable donation in my name," Vanessa added, dabbing at her eyes with a tissue, clearly a cry for help. I sat down on the sofa, Aaron's hand supportively on my shoulder. "You're right. We should talk about everything, including this." I pulled out my phone and played a voicemail from the travel agency. "Mrs. Sanders, we're calling to confirm that you authorized the cancellation of your daughter-in-law's honeymoon booking. We'll need written confirmation." The room fell silent. "That's not," Vanessa started. "And these," I continued, pulling out a stack of screenshots. "Every email where you changed our wedding vendors without consulting us. Every message where you overrode our decisions. All documented." Aunt Patricia's concerned expression wavered. "Vanessa, you said the honeymoon was canceled because Juliana was having second thoughts." "She was protecting the family," Uncle Robert defended, but he didn't sound as confident anymore. "No," Aaron spoke up, his voice firm. "She was controlling the family. There's a difference." I opened my mother's journal to a marked page. "Actually, this isn't new behavior. 28 years ago, my mother wrote about how Vanessa tried to break up her relationship with my father. She tried to cancel their wedding venue, too." Vanessa's face went pale. "That's ancient history." "Is it? Because you're still doing the same things, trying to control everyone, manipulating situations, turning family members against each other." "Everything I do is for this family," Vanessa snapped, her composed facade cracking. "Like canceling the honeymoon my dead father saved up for?" My voice was steady, even as tears threatened. "Was that for the family?" The room erupted in whispers. Aunt Patricia covered her mouth in shock. I didn't know it was from your father," Vanessa stammered. "Would it have mattered if you did?" Before she could answer, my phone buzzed. I checked it. A text from Avery. "Everything's set. Operation Maldives is go." You know what the saddest part is? I stood up, addressing the whole room. "You're so focused on controlling everything that you don't realize how much you're pushing people away. Aaron and I wanted to share our lives with you, but you turned every moment into a power play." "That's not true," Vanessa protested. "Tell them, Aaron." But Aaron shook his head. "No, Mom. Juliana's right. This has to stop. We're leaving now," I announced. "And when we get back, things will be different." "Back? Back from where?" Vanessa demanded. I walked to the door, then turned back with a smile my mother would have been proud of. "That's the thing about family, Vanessa. They don't keep secrets, remember? So I'm sure you'll figure it out." As we drove away, Aaron's phone started blowing up with messages from his relatives. "They're all asking what really happened with the wedding," he said. "Mom's story is falling apart." "Good," I replied. "Let the truth come out. We won't be here to deal with the fallout anyway." 3 days until paradise. Aaron grinned. Back home, I found one final note slipped under our door. But this time it wasn't from Vanessa. It was from Aunt Patricia. "Your mother was one of the kindest people I knew. She would be proud of you for standing up for yourself. P.S. Don't worry about Vanessa. We'll handle her while you're gone. Enjoy the Maldives." Overheard her frantically calling travel agencies earlier. "Your secret's safe with me." I showed the note to Aaron, who laughed. "Mom's going to lose it when she realizes her own sister is on our side." "She's going to lose it anyway when she discovers we're gone," I said. "But for once, there's nothing she can do about it." We spent the rest of the evening packing our official suitcases, the ones we'd leave behind as decoys while we escaped to our real paradise. In 3 days, we'd be on a plane to the Maldives, and Vanessa would finally learn what it felt like to not be in control. Sometimes the best revenge isn't about getting even. It's about getting free. The morning of our escape, I woke up to 17 missed calls from Vanessa and one very interesting text from Deborah. "She's planning a surprise send-off party for your Vancouver trip tonight. Should we let the plan proceed?" "Perfect timing," I told Aaron, showing him the message. "She's playing right into our hands. We spent the morning making a show of packing our decoy suitcases with winter clothes for Vancouver. Right on schedule, Vanessa appeared at our door, practically buzzing with barely contained energy. "Darling, you simply must come to dinner tonight before your trip. The whole family wants to properly say goodbye." "I don't know." I pretended to hesitate. "I insist," she said, that familiar, commanding tone creeping in. "We've reserved the private room at La Maison." Aaron squeezed my hand. "We'll be there, Mom." After she left, we sprang into action. While Aaron picked up our real luggage from Avery's, I met with Deborah one last time. "Everything's set at the restaurant," she confirmed. "I've arranged for the staff to play along. They'll bring out your surprise at exactly 8:15. "And the photographer?" "Ready and waiting. Trust me, you'll want pictures of her face when she realizes what's happening." That evening, we arrived at La Maison to find the entire family already seated. Vanessa had outdone herself, flowers everywhere, a Bon Voyage banner, and what looked like wrapped presents on a side table. "Vancouver is lovely this time of year," Aunt Patricia said with a wink as she hugged me. Vanessa clinked her glass, commanding attention. "Before we begin, I'd like to say something." She stood, adjusting her perfectly pressed blazer. "When I first heard about this solo trip, I was concerned. But now I realize this is exactly what our dear Juliana needs. Time to reflect, to understand the importance of family." I checked my watch. 8:10. "In fact," Vanessa continued, "I've taken the liberty of arranging some activities for you in Vancouver. My friend runs a wonderful family counseling center there." 8:13. "Because family is everything, and sometimes we need guidance to see that clearly." 8:14. "Which is why I've also booked myself a ticket to join you next week." "Actually," I interrupted, standing up as the restaurant staff began wheeling in a large covered presentation board, "I have an announcement of my own." Vanessa's smile froze. "What's this?" "A surprise," Aaron said, joining me. "For everyone." The staff removed the cover, revealing a massive photo collage. Front and center was a picture of our overwater bungalow in the Maldives, surrounded by our itinerary, booking confirmations, and a countdown clock reading, "Takeoff in 10 hours." The room erupted in gasps and exclamations. Vanessa's face went from confusion to shock to fury in rapid succession. But Vancouver," she sputtered, "was never real," I finished for her. "Just like your concern for my emotional well-being." "You lied to the family," she accused, trying to regain control of the narrative. "No, Vanessa. We protected our privacy from someone who repeatedly violated it." I turned to address the room. "Our flight leaves tomorrow morning. We'll be gone for 2 weeks, enjoying the honeymoon my father planned for us before he died. The honeymoon that was canceled without our consent." Uncle Robert let out a low whistle. "Well played, kids." "You can't do this." Vanessa stood so quickly her chair scraped loudly against the floor. "I already told everyone about Vancouver. I made arrangements." "Like you made arrangements to cancel our original honeymoon?" Aaron asked quietly. "Mom, this has to stop." Aunt Patricia started clapping, and soon the whole room joined in, except Vanessa, who looked like she'd swallowed something sour. "A toast," Uncle Robert called out, raising his glass. "To the happy couple. May your honeymoon be as brilliant as this masterful escape plan." As everyone clinked glasses, Vanessa grabbed her purse and stormed toward the door. But before leaving, she turned back with fire in her eyes. "This isn't over," she hissed. "Actually, it is," I replied calmly. "Check your phone." She pulled it out, and I watched as her eyes widened at the notification. I just tagged her in a social media post, a photo of the Children's Hospital donation receipt, praising her generous spirit in turning our canceled honeymoon funds into a charitable contribution. "You wouldn't dare." "I already did. The post is going viral in our community as we speak. Congratulations, Vanessa. You're now known as the most charitable mother-in-law in town." She fled the restaurant, leaving behind a room full of laughing relatives and one very satisfied daughter-in-law. "Ready for paradise?" Aaron whispered in my ear. I looked around at our supportive family members, all raising their glasses in celebration of our rebellion. "More than ready," I replied. "Let's show your mother what real family loyalty looks like." The Maldives were everything we dreamed of and more. For 12 blissful days, we lived in paradise. No drama, no manipulation, no Vanessa. Just crystal clear waters, white sand beaches, and blessed silence from our phones, which we'd left on airplane mode, until day 13. You need to see this, Aaron said, his face illuminated by his phone screen as we lay in our beachfront hammock. He'd briefly connected to the resort's Wi-Fi to check our flight details. I peered at his screen. Dozens of missed calls, hundreds of messages, and one very interesting email from Aunt Patricia with the subject line, "Your mother-in-law's meltdown gone viral." "Should we look?" I asked. "I think we have to." The email contained a link to a local news website. There, in all its glory, was a video of Vanessa at a charity gala, clearly intoxicated, ranting about ungrateful children and family betrayal. The caption read, "Local philanthropist's public meltdown raises questions about recent charitable donations." "Oh my God," I breathed. "Keep reading," Aaron said. According to Aunt Patricia's email, Vanessa had tried to maintain her image by throwing herself into charity work after our departure. She'd even attempted to take credit for organizing the children's hospital donation. But at the gala, after one too many glasses of champagne, she'd lost it. "Play the video," I said. The footage was shaky but clear enough. There was Vanessa, designer dress slightly askew, gesturing wildly with a champagne glass. "They think they can embarrass me?" She slurred into a microphone she'd apparently grabbed from the event's MC. "I gave them everything. I planned the perfect wedding. And this is how they repay me? By running off to some islands and making me look foolish?" The crowd's uncomfortable murmurs were audible in the background. "And that donation," she continued, "that was supposed to be their honeymoon. I canceled it because they weren't ready for marriage. I did it for them, for family." The video ended with security gently escorting her from the stage. "There's more," Aaron said, scrolling through messages. "The hospital is investigating the donation situation. Mom's Bridge Club has suspended her membership, and..." He paused. "The family's annual Christmas party has been moved to Aunt Patricia's house." I sat up in the hammock. "That's been at your mom's house for 20 years. "Exactly." He looked at me. "You know what this means?" She's lost control of the narrative. Just then, both our phones buzzed simultaneously. A text from Vanessa. "Coming to the airport to meet your return flight. We need to fix this situation immediately." I showed Aaron my screen. How did she even know our flight details? Probably called every airline until she found the booking. He ran a hand through his hair. "What do you want to do?" I thought about it for a moment, then called Deborah. "Already on it," she said before I could even explain. "I can have a car waiting at the private terminal. You won't have to go through the main arrival area." "You're a lifesaver." "Oh, and Juliana, you might want to check your email. The video of Vanessa's meltdown has caught the attention of a women's magazine. They want to interview you about standing up to toxic family dynamics." After hanging up, I found Aaron staring at his phone again. "More family messages?" "No," he said slowly. "It's an email from Dad." My breath caught. Aaron's father had left when he was young, driven away by Vanessa's controlling behavior. He rarely made contact. "He saw the video," Aaron continued. "Says he's proud of us for standing up to her, and..." He swallowed hard. "He wants to meet for coffee when we get back." I squeezed his hand. "Are you okay?" "Yeah, I just never thought..." He shook his head. "Mom's actions didn't just affect us, did they? They've been hurting people for years." Our phones buzzed again. Another message from Vanessa. "This is not a request. Family handles problems together." I looked at Aaron, then at the pristine beach around us, then back at the phone. Finally, I typed a response. "You're right, Vanessa. Family does handle problems together. That's why the entire family watched that video of you at the gala. That's why they're all making their own decisions now. You wanted to talk about family? Let's talk about how you've treated yours for the past 20 years. Aaron read over my shoulder as I typed. "Send it," he said firmly. I hit send, then turned off my phone. We had one more day in paradise, and I intended to enjoy it. "Think she'll be waiting at the main terminal anyway?" Aaron asked. "Probably. But for the first time in her life, she'll be waiting for something she can't control." We settled back into the hammock, listening to the waves. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, but we'd face them together, on our terms, not Vanessa's. The private terminal was quiet when our flight landed. True to her word, Deborah had arranged everything perfectly. A discreet exit, tinted window car waiting, and a text confirming Vanessa was indeed stalking the main terminal. "Ready to face the real world?" Aaron asked as we drove home. Before I could answer, both our phones lit up with notifications. The magazine article about standing up to toxic family relationships had gone live while we were in the air. They used the gala video, Aaron noted, scrolling through the article. They used more than that, I said, reading further. Look, other families are sharing similar stories in the comments. We're not the only ones who've dealt with this. We arrived home to find Aunt Patricia waiting in our driveway. Don't worry, she said, hugging us both. I've been keeping an eye on your place. And you should know, things have changed while you were gone. Inside, she filled us in. After the gala incident, family members had started sharing their own stories of Vanessa's manipulation. Uncle Robert's daughter revealed how Vanessa had sabotaged her college choices. Aaron's cousin admitted she'd eloped because of Vanessa's interference with wedding plans. The dam broke, Aunt Patricia explained. Once one person spoke up, everyone started talking. My phone rang, Vanessa's number. Put it on speaker, Aaron said. Juliana. Vanessa's voice was tightly controlled. I've been trying to reach you. I know. This situation has gotten out of hand. That article, those comments, people don't understand. I need you to make a statement. Explain that it was all a misunderstanding. No. A sharp intake of breath. No? The only misunderstanding was you thinking you could control everyone forever. I am your mother-in-law, and I am your daughter-in-law, not your puppet. The difference is, I never tried to control you. Aaron, Vanessa tried. Surely you understand. I understand perfectly, Mom. Aaron interrupted. I understand why Dad left, why Sarah eloped, why none of your children-in-law want to spend time with you, and I understand that it stops now. Silence filled the line. We're willing to have a relationship with you, I said softly, but it has to be a healthy one. No more manipulation, no more control, no more family ultimatums. And if I refuse? Then you'll lose us, Aaron said simply. Your choice. The line went dead. Aunt Patricia squeezed my hand. That was brave, both of you. A knock at the door made us all jump. It was Deborah, looking excited. Sorry to interrupt, but you need to see this. She pulled up a social media post on her phone. Vanessa just published this. The post was surprisingly short. To my family, I am seeking professional help to address my controlling behavior. I realize now that my actions have caused pain to those I love most. I don't expect immediate forgiveness, but I am committed to change. Is it genuine? Aaron wondered. Look at the comments, Deborah said. The first comment was from Aaron's father. This is a good first step, Vanessa. Perhaps we can all begin to heal. More family members had chimed in, offering cautious support while maintaining firm boundaries. The community of people from the magazine article were also commenting, sharing resources for family therapy and recovery. It's not a perfect ending, I said, but it's a start. My phone buzzed with a text from Vanessa. I would like to meet, just to talk. No demands, no conditions, when you're ready. I showed it to Aaron. He nodded slowly. Tell her we'll think about it, he said, on our terms. I typed a response. We appreciate your willingness to change. Give us time to process everything. Maybe we can get coffee next week, in a public place with clear boundaries. Her reply came quickly. I understand. Thank you for the chance. Later that evening, as Aaron and I unpacked our suitcases, I found my mother's journal at the bottom of my carry-on. Opening it to a random page, I read her words. Love doesn't demand control. It offers freedom to grow, to change, to become. What are you thinking? Aaron asked, noticing my smile. That sometimes the happy ending isn't about winning or losing. It's about breaking free and giving others the chance to do the same. He pulled me close. Think Mom will actually change? I don't know. But that's not our responsibility. We've shown her, and everyone else, that it's possible to stand up for yourself while still leaving the door open for healing. Speaking of doors, Aaron grinned, should we tell her we're house hunting in another neighborhood? Let's save that conversation for another day. Right now, I just want to enjoy our freedom. Outside, the sun was setting on our first day back, not as newlyweds under Vanessa's thumb, but as partners who had faced manipulation and emerged stronger. Whatever came next, we would face it together on our own terms. And that was the sweetest victory of all.